Lightfall's out, and I wanted to give my initial take, my initial review of the DLC after finishing the campaign on Legendary and being presented with some of the after story, stuff to grind for. And I've seen a lot of the system changes now, kind of experimented with them. We got the loadout system, the armor 3.5, whatever they're calling it, where they reworked the mods, and I've played with a little bit of Strand. And I just want to give my takes. Starting off with the campaign, I did it on Legendary, as I said, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. It was long. So was the Witch Queen campaign, but this one did not have a good story to support it. Neither did the Witch Queen, really. People hyped that campaign up, but as like a campaign, if you compare it against other video games, I'd give Witch Queen like a 7 out of 10. This one, though, Lightfall, I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Very, very bad. A lot of just Strand spam. Like, you're constantly interacting with the Strand things, getting empowered, and just spamming your Strand abilities. And even when you're spamming them, they still don't even feel that strong. Like, there were times where I'd rather have just been on my Starfire Protocol build to kill, like, the Tormentors and stuff. And that's just a little bit disappointing. I'm kind of happy that Strand isn't super strong, but this is also pre-everyone unlocking all the fragments, so we don't know for sure if it's going to be strong or not. But I'm just hoping it stays kind of bad, because I don't need it coming into PvP and soiling it. But for PvE, I think it's already in need of buffs. And that's the same thing that happened with Stasis. But we'll see how that plays out. I'm not going to hate on Strand too much yet, because I think it looks cool. It's a cool idea, and I think it'll ultimately be a fun thing in the game. But the story, let's get back to that. It's bad. It's real bad. You're just kind of running around the city aimlessly trying to stop them from creating a link to do something with the Traveler. It just seemed like nonsensical. Like, there's certain things that there's just a lot of MacGuffins. Like, why do they need a link? And if they do, okay, then when we destroy it, the witness can use our ghost to then link with the thing, with the veil, and the veil was just kind of stupid looking. Personally, I just found it underwhelming. I'd be interested to see what people think of it that actually know what's going on in the story, but as someone who doesn't, they don't do a good job of getting you like engaged. The character development is pathetic, but that's just Destiny. Like, I've come to expect that at this point. So you kind of hope that the gameplay makes up for it. It really didn't this time for me. The puzzles are non-existent in the story, honestly. There's like one puzzle you have to do with like these Vex harpies, and it's pretty easy to figure out, and that's it. Like, the Witch Queen did a much better job of at least having some puzzles in there, even if they were also easy. Because I feel like for a campaign, you need that mix of killing stuff, doing puzzles, fighting bosses. And this campaign kind of lacked that. And you just kind of fight Tormentors at the end of every mission. There's no like unique bosses each time. There really wasn't for Witch Queen either, but you did have like a little bit of variety. You had Riven in one area, or like a Nightmare of Riven, and then you had that Scorn guy, so there was a little bit more variety. This campaign does not have that. So overall, really mid. 5 out of 10. Garbage. Like, this is a garbage campaign. If you're trying to get this DLC for the campaign, don't even buy it. The campaign is garbage. Let me know what you think about that, and we'll go into the system changes now. Alright, so transitioning into the system changes. We got the loadout system, the new armor mod rework, and I'm not going to lie, there's a few things that I'm noticing that might be a problem. One of which for the loadout system is that these 4 loadout ranks seem to be locked behind the seasonal Guardian ranks, which reset every season. Maybe once you unlock these one time, you keep those 10 loadouts forever. But if they reset every season, you lose 4 loadouts every season. I am not going to be very happy about that. I wanted to just make 10 PvP builds and, have a good time. But that means 4 of them are getting deleted every season, and you have to regrind them to get access to them. Just a little bit convoluted, a little bit tedious for just no reason, it feels like, other than to just encourage you to rank up your Guardian rank, which I couldn't care less about. I don't want to do a bunch of bounties. These are just bounties. Like, they're not, I don't know. Just personal take on that. A little bit disappointed. But the loadout system itself, the 6 loadouts we have and how it functions, it's very good. It even pulls stuff from your vault if you don't have it on your character. And you can just have all your mods, all the perks, everything you want selected. It's very good. So overall, that's a win. Just not happy about how these seasonal things are functioning. I'm hoping you unlock them permanently, but I doubt that's the case. A little bit unfortunate. Armor 3.5, or whatever it's called, the armor mod rework, it's a little bit duty. It's really simplifying the stuff for PvE, making the builds a lot more boring. And for PvP, we lost Powerful Friends, Radiant Light, and Quick Charge. The mods themselves still exist, but the stat benefits seem to be gone, which, that's bad. That's real bad. Hunters are getting crapped on. This ruins them. 40 stats you're losing. And hunters need their mobility and they need their melees. Like, they're all about that stuff. So that's bad for hunters. It's bad for all my builds. It pretty much ruins everything. But since we got the new loadout system, I have to remake my builds anyway with artifice armor, stuff like that. So it's not a huge deal, but for hunters it is. On a warlock, I don't care as much. Just a little bit disappointed. And I'll just have to be using Ophidians even more because that handling nerf to shotguns, that's what taking away quick charge is. It's bad. It basically sets precision frames way above the rest because aggressives need that quick charge really bad. Fractus doesn't because it has quick draw and Matador's threat detector. So that's just my thoughts on that. Immediate thoughts as a PvP player. Not happy about that, but it is what it is. PvE players, I think you're going to be a little sad too. Like, the most interesting thing about the Armor 3.0 system is just you get some kills, pick up some orbs, and then you can have a really long weapon buff. And you can do surges for multiple different guns and stuff like that. Kind of cool. I don't know how much the surges are as a damage buff. I'm pretty sure they're not as good as Font of Might, which I believe is 20%. My guess is that they're 10%, and then having 2 would be the same as Font of Might. Having 3 would be even more. I don't know. That's just my guess, but overall, I'd say the Armor 3.0 is quite disappointing. I don't think that's what it's called. I don't know why I keep calling it that. Moving to the artifact mods. The artifact mods really feel like they're actually going to be the main focus of this game for the remainder of this year. Like, the meta and everything and how much fun you have all comes down to what they're allowing you to use. Because these are now perks. They're just active. And you only get cheaper mods for Solar, Strand, and Void. So that pretty much makes them a requirement to use if you want to make like really dynamic builds. And they also have stuff further encouraging you to use them, like Solar Surge, Volatile Flow. You got these cool Firebolt Grenade things. And all this just kind of points to a seasonal grind and a fake artificial seasonal meta, which is just, I've never been a fan of that, ever. You know, whenever they put in a broken mod and it just breaks PvP or PvE and just makes the game easy for an entire season if you're just using these specific things, I'm really tired of this, and they're doing it again. But the fact that the perks now is kind of cool. It makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to go back in constantly and reset stuff. But before, you could just unlock everything anyway. It's whatever. The one problem I am seeing is that once you've reset this thing, the mods that you have on that are cheaper, you know, made cheaper by these artifact things, will then get deactivated, I guess, which is just going to make the loadouts and everything a little bit convoluted and annoying to deal with. But I'm just going to do my best to not reset this artifact much. But they should add in a feature to just deselect a single perk so you can reselect another. Because I'm sure by the time you get to the last column, you only have like 1 or 2 choices left. And if you don't pick the 2 you want, you have to reset the whole artifact, get back and pick the 2 you want again. Kind of dumb. You should just be able to deselect one, pick the other. But that's just saving you a couple clicks. The last thing I want to talk about, which I kind of glossed over, was some of the new exotics. Overall, I found most of them to be underwhelming. There's a new Stasis bow, and I think that's going to be really strong and slot in really well to Stasis builds. There's also a Stasis exotic heavy glaive. That might be good, but I doubt it. I think the bow's going to end up being better. The bow's cool. The machine gun, this void machine gun that weakens, makes you volatile, stuff like that, every like 4 shots. Terrible. That's just automatically garbage. It's never going to be good unless they buff it. There's a lock-on sidearm strand thing. It just looks so gimmicky. It might be strong, and if it is, it'll only be strong in PvP. There's no way that thing's going to be good in PvE. Quicksilver Storm, I'm not sure what the catalyst is. It might pair well with the Strand Warlock, though, if it spawns tangles, because the Solar Warlock exotic allows you to break those tangles and spawn threadlings, so you could just make a big chain. That could be a good build, but again, you're stacking that up against Starfire Protocol, Well of Radiance, which is still a requirement and hasn't been nerfed yet. I don't know why. Honest, like, it's just too strong at this point. And so much other stuff. There's so many things that are already good, and I don't think any of these exotics are overtaking any of those things. And that's fine, because if you just make them unique enough, then at least they're cool. They could slot into some cool builds and be fun to use. But I don't even find them that cool, honestly. The lock-on sidearm just seems really dumb to me. There's a new glaive. I'm not even sure what it does. I'll have to check that out. But I doubt it's going to be anything too revolutionary. Maybe it will be, though. Who knows? And I'm not talking about the Stasis glaive. This is a different glaive, I think, that you craft. But overall, I just found the exotics to be pretty not interesting seeming. The Strand Titan thing for the barricade could be strong in PvP. Same goes for the Hunter Grapple thing. I think they both have really good potential in PvP. Which, again, that just scares me a little bit. Especially the Titan barricade one. Because if it just suspends everyone in front of you and then you can just go kill them all with one Titan melee, that's a little bit scary. The grapple hook one gives you like woven mail and reduced flinch. So you can just fly up really high into the air, hit some jump shots if you have that fragment on that gives you AE when you pop your grenade. I could see some real synergy there. But overall, I don't find the exotics to be too engaging. This DLC, same as Beyond Light, seems to be coming down to the raid. The raid seems to be the the last hope for this DLC. Because if that doesn't come through, and I honestly, my predictions are it's not going to be that good. Judging from the rest of this DLC, I don't think it's going to be that great. I think it's going to have some cool bosses, same as Vow of the Disciple, but they seem to have discovered a raid formula of an opening Sparrow encounter that takes forever, a puzzle, then a boss, then a puzzle, then a boss. That is how the raids function. That's Beyond Light's raid, that's Vow of the Disciple, it's sort of Garden of Salvation, and it might be this raid too. They gotta add some more encounters. They gotta pull off a last wish. Like, I know they have this new formula of just not over-delivering, but like, goddamn, you guys are so stupid for not at least like throwing in a little bit extra every once in a while in different areas. You know, you gotta try a little harder. Witch Queen had like a bunch of after-campaign stuff in the Throne World, where you're going and doing puzzles, revisiting Savathun's like light area. There was like reasons to go back in the planet. I'm not getting that same vibe for Lightfall, other than just doing the exotic quests, which I don't care about these exotics. So overall thoughts on the DLC, I think it's bad. 6 out of 10. I don't think it's going to be that good overall. The raid might come through and end up being really fun, and I hope it does because I love the raids, and that's at the end of the day all I really care about for PvE. And PvP, not a lot of changes, so it just feels like there's nothing new to do in PvP other than play around with Strand, which I don't want to be broken at the same time, so I'm in a tough spot there. But overall, the system change is alright. 6 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's all for the video. Peace.